Today we are going to understand the chapter The Freedom Struggle of 1857, Part 2. In the previous class, we have seen that in 1857 a struggle took place and the causes why the struggle took place. So, the revolt took place looking at all the conditions of the people which was made by the British. Before British establishment, the local people were somewhere happy with the administration of the kings. The kings didn't use to interfere in the lives of the local people and also used to support the local people. But when the British established the rule, it led to discontent among the local people. And this discontent led to revolt. So it began with the peasants, where the British introduced new revenue systems on the peasants, where lot more money was extracted from the peasants and nothing would left behind with the peasants. So due to this, the peasants in various places revolted against the British. The artisans became unemployed due to the import and export policy of the British. The social religious sentiments of people were hurt due to the interference of British in customs and tradition of Indians. The British also introduced few policies such as subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, and denial of right to succession in front of Indian kings, in which the Indian kings lost their thrones. It also affected the Indian sepoys, where they were given low position and less salary, and also their religious sentiments were hurt by the British. So, as their religious sentiments were hurt because of the grease cartridges which was made up of fat of cows and pigs, where the cows are holy to the Hindus and pigs are forbidden for the Muslims. Those who refused to use smeared cartridges were given severe punishment by the British. Hence, the revolt began from the Indian sepoys in Bengal. Army of the Bengal Presidency was the largest. The army people there were among high caste Hindus and comparatively wealthy Muslims. The sepoys were therefore affected to a large degree by the concerns of the landholding and traditional members of the Indian society. The sepoys also gradually became dissatisfied with various other aspects of army life. The first sepoy to fight against the British was Mangal Pandey. He played a key role in the revolt of 1857, also known as a Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. He is widely known in India as one of its first freedom fighters. Mangal Pandey was born on 19 July 1827 in a Brahmin family in Uttar Pradesh in Barakpur. He had joined the East India Company's army in the year of 1849. He played a key role in the many events prior to the Indian Rebellion of 1857. Mangal Pandey decided to take violent action against the British to show them his disapproval against the cartridges. On March 29, 1857, a furious Pandey planned a rebellion against the British rule and threatened to kill any British officer he comes across. So the first one to come across was Lieutenant Henry Bagh. Lieutenant Henry Bagh learned of the revolt and galloped on his horse to catch Mangal Pandey. On seeing him coming, Pandey took his position, aimed his gun at Bagh, and fired. The bullet missed the British officer, but hit his horse, bringing him down. The horse came down. Bagh got up and fired at Pandey, but he also missed his shot. Till then, Pandey attacked him with a talwar and injured Bagh badly. Bagh fell down. By this time, word reached the other British officers, and Sergeant Major Hewson arrived on the ground and asked an Indian officer to arrest the Mangal Pandey. But the Indian officer refused to arrest Mangal Pandey. Hewson then went to see Lieutenant Bagh and Mangal Pandey hit him with his gun, and Hussein fell on the ground. More English officers arrived at that time. Sensing that the English officers would arrest him now, Mangal Pandey tried to kill himself by shooting on his chest with the gun. But, however, he was saved and arrested by the British. Then, he was hanged to death on 8th April 1857. The news of Mangal Pandey's death spread like fire during April. There was unrest and fires at Agra, Allahabad, and Ambala. At Meerut, a large military cantonment, 2,357 Indian sepoys and 2,038 British soldiers were stationed along with 12 British man guns. The station held one of the largest concentrations of British troops in India. Although the state of unrest within the Bengal army was well known because of the smeared cartridges and Mangal Pandey's death. So on 24 April, Lieutenant Colonel George Carmichael Smith, the unsympathetic commanding officer, ordered 90 of his men to parade and perform firing drills. All except 5 of the men on parade refused to accept the cartridges. And because of those 5, 85 men were court martialized and most were sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. The entire garrison was paraded and watched as the 5 men were placed in shackles. There was also unrest in the city of Meerut itself, with the angry protests in the bazaar and some buildings being set on fire. The entire regiment of Indian sepoys at Meerut took part in the freedom struggle and marched towards Delhi. Early on 11 May, the army reached Delhi. From beneath the windows of the king's apartments in the palace, they called on him to acknowledge and lead them. Bahadur Shah did nothing at this point. He treated the sepoys as ordinary petitioners. But others in the palace were quick to join the revolt. During the day, the revolt spread. British officials and dependents, Indian Christians, and shopkeepers within the city were killed. Some by the sepoys and others by the crowd of the fighters. After so much of instability, Bahadur Shah held his first formal court for many years. It was attended by many excited sepoys. Bahadur Shah, the Mughal emperor, accepted the leadership of the freedom struggle and proclaimed him as the Emperor of India. Scope of the struggle. The self confidence of the sepoys increased with the capture of Delhi. It also gave inspiration to other soldiers. The revolt soon spread in North India. The Indian soldiers revolted in cantonments from Bihar to Rajputana. The most ferocious battles were fought in Delhi, Awadh, Rohilkhand, Bundelkhand, Allahabad, Agra, Meerut, and western Bihar. The rebellious forces under the commands of Kunwar Singh in Bihar and Bakht Khan in Delhi gave a stunning blow to the British. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib was proclaimed as the Peshwa. As Nana Sahib was adopted son of the king, and according to the doctrine of lapse, an adopted child cannot rule or have no right on the throne. So the British stopped giving him pension. This insult from the British led him to take part in the revolt of 1857. In June 1857, Nana Sahib and the sepoys attacked the British at Kanpur and captured it. In July 1857, the British were successful in recapturing Kanpur by defeating Nana Sahib's forces. Tatya Tope was one of the foremost leaders of the revolt of 1857, whose valor and courage inspire Indians to this day. Despite having no formal training in fighting skills, Tope was a brilliant fighter and a master in the art of guerrilla warfare. He played an active part in the rebellion and at Kanpur and then at Gwalior, where he came to be the aide of Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi. Rani Lakshmibai is also regarded as one of the greatest freedom fighters of India. After her son's death, she adopted her cousin's son, Damodar Rao. Lord Dalhousie learnt about this adoption and he applied doctrine of lapse of Rani Lakshmibai. British put forth an opportunity in front of Rani. He wanted to grant an annual pension and asked to leave the fort of Jhansi. The British forces under the command of Sir Hugh Rose arrived at Jhansi fort with the intention of capturing it in 1858. He demanded that the city surrender to him or else it would be destroyed. Rani Lakshmibai refused and said, "We fight for independence." In the words of Lord Krishna, "We will, if we are victorious, enjoy the fruits of victory. If defeated and killed on the field of battle, we shall surely earn eternal glory and salvation." For 2 weeks the battle went on, where the Rani led her army of men and women valiantly against the British. Despite courageous fighting, Jhansi lost the battle. Rani, tying her infant son on her back, escaped to the Kalpi on horseback. Along with Tatya Tope and other rebel soldiers, Rani captured the fort of Gwalior. Afterwards, she proceeded to Morar, Gwalior to fight the British. Rani Lakshmibai died while fighting in Gwalior on 18 June 1858 at the age of 29. She was dressed as a soldier when she died. In the freedom struggle of 1857, the descendant of Mughals, Bahadur Shah, was incapable of fighting against the British. Understanding the condition, Nana Sahib Peshwa, Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi, and Tatya Tope took up the charge of freedom struggle of 1857. Later, the revolt spread into South India. Chhatrapati Pratap Singh of Satara was from the great Bhosle family of Shivaji Maharaj. He was dethroned and stripped of his powers and personal possessions in 1839. He was exiled to Banaras and granted an allowance for his maintenance. With Chhatrapati Pratap Singh, Rango Bapuji, Chima Sahib of Kolhapur, Baba Sahib Bhave of Nargund, Bhagoji Naik of Ahmednagar were in the forefront. Royal Queens of Pate, Surghana from Nasik district also participated in the struggle. In 1857, under the leadership of Kajar Singh, the Bhils revolted, whereas Shankar Shah led the revolt in Satpura region. 400 female Bhils participated in the revolt of Khandesh. In the 18th century, after the weakening of Mughal Empire, invaders like Nadir Shah of Abdali attacked India. At that time, Marathas understood that Mughal Empire cannot react to these foreign invasions and took up the responsibility of safeguarding India. Similar situation this time in the freedom struggle of 1857 where the rulers understood that Bahadur Shah was incapable of fighting against the British. So the rulers rose against the British. Large sections of Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs together challenged the greatest imperialist power. Britain during the India's first war of independence. This Hindu Muslim unity naturally made the British realize that if they want to continue their rule in India, they had to separate both the religions. There was Maulvi Ahmad Allah in the revolt. He was also a leading figure of the Great Indian Revolt of 1857. He made the local mosque, Masjid Sarai, located in Chowk area of Faizabad, his headquarters. He used the premises of the mosque to hold meetings with rebellion leaders. Maulvi Ahmad Allah kept Faizabad free from British rule for almost a year until his death at hands of British agents on June 5, 1858. Kuwar Singh was a notable leader during the revolt of 1857. He led the Indian rebellion of 1857 in Bihar. He was nearly 80 and falling health with he was called upon to take up arms. He gave a good fight and harried British forces for nearly a year. and remained invisible until the end. He was an expert in the art of guerrilla warfare. Muhammad Bakht Khan provided able leadership in the First War of Independence of 1857. He initiated democratic reforms by establishing the Greater Administrative Council and formulated the Special Constitution Policy. He felt that there should not be any influence of personal differences and selfishness on independent rule. Thus, Muhammad Bakht Khan demonstrated great statesmanship in his mission. He said that it was not enough if the British were driven away them from Delhi. They were to be eliminated from nearby states of India as well. Then Begum Hazrat Mahal, the mother, queen, and a symbol of resistance during the revolt of 1857. The Begum proved her mettle as a leader. She began by uniting Hindu and Muslims against the British. She then motivated women to become warriors and join the war, and appealed to all sections of society to donate funds for the revolt. Begum Hazrat Mahal proved to be very proactive as she issued proclamations regularly, encouraging people to unite and fight against the British. So now we will do the question and answers of this chapter's second part. Question number 1. Fill in the blanks. Number 1. Dash from Barakpur cantonment, shot an English officer. Mangal Pandey from Barakpur cantonment, shot an English officer. Number 2. They handed over the leadership of the freedom struggle to Dash. They handed over the leadership of the freedom struggle to Bahadur Shah. Number 3. Shankar Shah led the revolt in Dash region. Shankar Shah led the revolt in Satpura region. In the freedom struggle of 1857, the descendant of Mughals, Bahadur Shah, was incapable of fighting against the Dash. In the freedom struggle of 1857, the descendant of Mughals, Bahadur Shah, was incapable of fighting against the British. Question number 2. Answer the following in brief. Why did Mangal Pandey shot an English officer? Disciplinary action was taken on those sepoys who refused to use the smeared cartridges and were given severe punishment. Mangal Pandey from Barakpur cantonment shot an English officer as a reaction to unjust nature of British officers. Who were the freedom fighters in North India? The revolt soon spread in North India. The Indian soldiers revolted in cantonments from Bihar to Rajputana. The revolt spread in Lucknow, Allahabad, Kanpur, Banaras, Bareilly, and Jhansi. Question number 3. Explain the following statements with reasons. Bahadur Shah was proclaimed as the Emperor of India. The entire regiment of Indian sepoys at Meerut took part in the freedom struggle and marched towards Delhi. Thousands of Indians voluntarily joined them on the way. They handed over the leadership of the freedom struggle to Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah and proclaimed him as the Emperor of India. The Marathas fought against Abdali. During the 18th century, after weakening of Mughal Empire, invaders like Nadir Shah Abdali attacked India. The Marathas understood that Mughal Empire cannot react to these foreign invasions and took up the responsibility of safeguarding India. The Marathas fought against Abdali at Panipat. Thank you, students. So now we will meet in our next session.